And here we are, Paulie Boy, on a Monday night, August the 17th. You never know the energy I'm going to bring to this show, do you? I start off all calm and I just come on strong.
Yeah, you just fire away. Just getting crazy.
Bro, I'm just so excited to be here. Are you back in the Paulie Boy Studios?
I'm in Paulie Boy Studios. No longer the Barbella Studios, but the Paulie Boy Studios.
I'm sure Barbella is listening, though, to our broadcast.
I'm sure. I'm sure she'll be in here if she's not already in here.
Man, it's Monday night. It's time for family dinner with my boy Paulie Boy with the Fantasy Fam here on the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports Network. Thanks as always to Lenny and Andrea for having us. We're always excited to be here. I look so forward to this over the course of the week that we prep for this typically on Sundays, Paulie?
Yeah.
So when we prep on Sundays, Mondays, which is usually the drag day a little bit, I'm just all pumped up all day from what we talked about the night before, getting all amped up for Mondays. So this is like my Monday coffee. I love it.
So it's just building up all that energy pretty much. Now you're ready to get into it.
I don't make any. I'm not. I don't make any insinuations. I'm not making any insinuations. But the build up is on Sunday, and this is the release.
Right. This is the.
You don't even want to comment on that.
I'm just gonna go along with it. Say all right.
And moving on. Yeah, that's probably best.
And to fantasy sports.
And on to fantasy sports. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I wanted you to check out my cartoon Ahmed Rosario I got on today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. It was a giveaway, and Andrea will enjoy that. The giveaway was sponsored by Goya.
Goya.
Yes.
Goya beans.
Lenny,
nice.
Close the refrigerator, baby. Close it up. It's time for the Fantasy Fam, baby.
And George is in here. She enjoys watching us, which I'm surprised.
It's funny because it was her birthday last week, and she asked me what I thought about Jeff McNeil, and I said, "Listen, you gotta you gotta tune in." And she was like, "I have been."
Yeah.
So she's one of our
and now she's at the Fantasy Fam dinner table.
She is. And George is always at the Fantasy Fam dinner table. So
she's always got a spot at the table.
She does. As does Malpal, as does Lenny, as does Andrea. Whoever else wants to come in. I know we got people that just kind of check in, check out. Sean Tendo said he's going to be joining us in a bit, which will be exciting. Right. Hopefully we get King Hap in the mix. Where's Georgie been? George has been like MIA. I feel like George is the kind of guy, Paulie, where if we don't show up for his show, he doesn't show up for our show. Like it's like a you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of thing. So we got to start showing up for Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a lot easier when we were going on after him to tune in, but definitely have to get back on that Sunday night fantasy show of George's.
The Georgie train, as they call it, the imbeciles.
Yeah, definitely.
But our show today, again, I love because we got the meat and potatoes of the player analysis that I love to get into. Today we're going to talk a little bit about. We got a cool little segment. Again, Paulie Boy gets all the props for this because Paulie Boy, a couple of sessions back, brought us through a segment called Start, Bench, Cut. And we did that for like 2 months straight. Guys that we would start and guys that we would bench and guys we would cut if we had them all on the same team. Paulie Boy called me today and he says, "Hey, Uncle Bob, what about Concern, Panic, Doom?" And I know you start on MLB, I think, Paulie, right? With teams?
Yeah, they do it with the teams, and they go through each team, and if they have Panic or Doom, but we put a little fantasy twist on this.
Yeah, so we're going to talk more about players with Concern, Panic, Doom. And then we're going to go into dollar dandies. So guys that you paid $1 for in your auction league or were on the wire, and you just got ridiculous value out of them this year. That so far, 3 weeks in, you've just caught so much value, which is awesome. But trivia.
We got your boy BC in here.
Oh, come on, BC. You know, whenever I say that, BC, Brandon's grandmother, who is awesome, when I went to grammar school with Brandon, she used to sit in the stand and yell, "Come on, BC!" And Brandon was literally 80 pounds soaking wet. Soaking wet. But there was one game in middle school, Paulie, where he pitched like a 7-inning shutout, and it was 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and he hit the winning single to drive in the only run, and he pumped his fist like it was Rocky knocking out Creed. It was just, I had that image forever set in my mind. So BC, you're in the mix, kid. Come on, BC.
Wow, that's a good story right there.
You weren't even born, Paulie boy. Weren't even born.
No, it wasn't even a thought.
You know, Paulie, I was pontificating this week. I said, you know, me and Paulie boy are close. We share a lot. Here's the question. This is one thing I don't know about you. Who's your number 2 team? Who's your number 2 team? I know we share number 1 teams, but if I was to ask you, number 2 teams typically in the world don't get a lot of credit, and everybody in the chat room here, give us a shout out. Who's your number 2 team? I know Andrea is Red Sox number 1. I know Malpal is Padres number 1. Lenny, I think, is Mets too, because I think he was like a Dodger Giant guy. I forget which one it was. So I think he's in that. But who's your number 2 team? So, Paulie, lead us off here. Who's number 2 for you?
Well, number 2 for me was always the Red Sox, basically because of you, you know, living up in Boston. And Red Sox have probably been the team that I've seen the second most live. You know, I've been to Fenway a decent amount. And, you know, I've always taken that side, especially in the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. So definitely the Sox were definitely a number 2 team favorite of mine for a while. I mean, I would say that they still are. I'm not as like into them as much now, you know, but I would say that they would be my second favorite team.
The Red Sox. All right. I mean, then we share that too, obviously, because, you know, just my.
Yeah, I would say it would be because of you, you know, because of you living up there for so long, you know.
Got it. Went to a bunch of games. You came with me to Poppy's last game, didn't you?
Yeah, no, not his last game. When they retired his number.
Retired. That was it. Retired his number.
When they retired his number, we were up there. He gave a speech, and there was a million people there.
That's right. That's right. Lenny told us that he said, come for a few games if you can. We all support each other. I agree, Lenny. I'm all for that. The only problem is any shows that take place in the AM like yours, Lenny, Paulie Boy's just not catching. I want to be honest with you. He wakes up at 2 p.m.
I would love to. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, especially when maybe I get back into the work field. I'll be up a little bit more that early in the morning, but right now it's been tough.
I spoke to Paulie yesterday for the record, guys, and he sounded really cranky at like 2 o'clock. I'm like, are you just waking up? He said, I had a long night. I said, you had a long night. What were you doing? I was figuring out my fantasy team. I had to make some moves. I had to win this week.
Yeah, didn't work panic out. Mode.
Didn't work out last week.
I know.
That's all right.
No, not too much. BC's got a lot of love. BC, we love you too. We got our boy Durf in here. He's entered the war zone.
You know, Durf told me he's working until 7:30, so Durf might still be on the clock right now talking to us. So Durf, we appreciate the commitment. We love it. That's good stuff right there. Good stuff. Yeah. So, all right, Paul.
As usual, always laughing at us, E-Ray.
Erica, we love you. Malpal, White Sox, number 2 team of the White Sox. So, I mean, that's between the Padres and the White Sox, it's an exciting time for Malpal. Those are 2 up-and-coming teams. Even though I don't think the Padres are ever going to amount to much, but I think the White Sox will. I think the White Sox will get it together. You know, they got the young pitching coming up. I think they're going to be all right. So, Paul, you wanna jump into this bad boy?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm ready to get into it.
All right, guys. This segment again is called Concern, Panic, Doom. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna name 4 hitters and 4 pitchers. We're gonna go one by one, and we're gonna decide, like, do you have general concern about these guys? Are you now in panic mode about these guys? Or are you in certain doom with these guys? Like, all right, to the point of cutting them. We're 3 weeks in. For a lot of fantasy seasons, I think it's like 7 weeks for a lot of teams before they hit the playoffs, 6 or 7 weeks. I think ours is actually 7 weeks, Paulie Boy, right? 7?
7 weeks, yeah.
7 weeks, yeah. So it's like the halfway point almost. So it's like, all right, we got to start to make some decisions. So let's dive into these. And we're talking about big names, guys. These are guys that went in on the front end of your drafts. Either went for top dollar in your auction. And where are you with these guys? All right, like, are you concerned? Are you panicked? Or are you in doom with them? In a mindset of doom. Are you ready, Paul? Okay, here we go. Hitter number 1. We're starting off hot. Big name. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger. Are you concerned? Are you panicked? Or are you in the doom?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, after this season, I think there's definitely some level of panic with Cody. He's batting under 200 right now. Yeah, he's got 40 games to step it up, but he's not looking like that 300 hitter from last year, that in that MVP form. So it seems like when he's not in that, that however that mind state or that physicalness or whatever it is of his, it's just he's going to be around 200 to 250 hitter. He'll get you 25 bombs to 30 bombs in a normal season maybe, but I don't know. I'd be kind of panicking if he was on my team because I'm sure I spent a top round pick on him. So you're getting the 250 hitter for that. He's not going crazy with the home runs right now. I'd be panicking.
Yeah. I mean, Malpal says he's concerned. You say you're panicked. Paulie, I'm going straight up doom. And I know people are going to think I'm crazy because he had such an MVP year last year or whatnot. That long swing, I didn't even know last year how he didn't start to figure him out with that long swing, right? Like, unless he starts making some adjustments, and I don't think he's going to do it this year. Malpal, you're right. He's a streaky hitter. I just don't like that long swing. I think he's like the left-handed version of Pete Alonso, right? And now obviously Bellinger had a better year last year than Alonso, but both great years. But long swings, long swings, and these pitchers right now, especially with the way they're throwing, which we could do a whole other segment, Paulie, about how off-speed stuff is now the new fastball, right? They're all throwing this off-speed, this funky stuff. Pitchers are no longer setting up a batter with a leadoff fastball, and if they are, batters are swinging 0-0, right? They used to take the first pitch, now they're swinging. So now they're breaking off a lot of breaking pitches, and batters like Bellinger and Alonso, I don't know if they have made these adjustments yet. They're young hitters. There's still hope. But right now, I don't know if Bellinger is going to make an in-season adjustment. So I think right now he's in a place of doom. I think he's in a really tough spot. Thank God they have Mookie Betts to carry the load there. But I'm not high on Bellinger for this year.
Yeah, just feel like he's an MVP caliber guy. So I wouldn't get too, crazy about it. But like right now, he's under 200. It's just like, in with 40 games left, I'd be pretty nervous right now if he can turn it around in time.
Yeah, just not big on Cody. Next guy up here has a little bit of a better average than our friend Cody. Is Gleyber. Gleyber Day. So 254 average, but only 1 dong and 5 RBIs. Gleyber came in with a ton of hype this year. I mean, qualified at 2 positions as far as fantasy goes. Was probably went in the top 2 rounds, right? Top 2 rounds. But 254, 1 home run, 5 ribs in the middle of that Yankee lineup. I don't know, Paulie.
I don't know. Is he just putting like too much pressure on himself, or I don't know what it is exactly with him, but I'm concerned.
Hey, Paulie Boy Studios isn't so reliable. I think you got to go back to Barbella Studios because you're going in and out. We can barely hear you. All right, Paulie, I think we lost.
Is that better for you?
That's a little better. Can you hear me? I lost you again. Nothing. All right, I'm gonna take this and run a little bit with it. Glaber, I'm in a spot of concern with Glaber right now. I know, doom for Bellinger, concern for Glaber. I know, it's crazy, but I just think he's got a shorter swing. I just have more. He's a little bit more compact. And he's a little bit more of a contact guy. So I just have a higher. I think he's just going to come around with the Yankees. I just think right now he's not really in a good spot. Malpal says, "You think playing shortstop hurting his bat? Yeah, could it could. I mean, it's a little bit extra pressure. I know. Didi was a shortstop for the majority when he was playing last year, but shortstop might be getting into his head. You're panicking, Malpal. Like I said, I'm still in concern, but concern leaning into panic. So I'm just not there right now. Paulie boy, are you back with us?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, you sound like you're back in the mix. You had some crosswires there. Some crosswires in the Paulie Boy Studios.
Sorry about that.
We're
still talking.
Did your mother pick up the phone? Did your mother pick up the phone like an AOL? See, you don't remember.
She is working. She is working inside, so who knows?
Paulie, back in the day, I know Malpal looked at this, and Andrea and Lenny. Back in the day, when the internet first came out, AOL was all the rage. So you'd be talking to like your true love in like Yugoslavia, and like they would be jamming up the phone line. So if your mom picked up the phone, it would go, and like you'd get knocked off the line, and you'd freak out, "Mom, get off the phone!"
Yeah, it's pretty much what still happens here. We're way behind in the times here.
That's the South Shore of Staten Island right there.
Yeah, you know what.
The South Shore. So what I was just saying is concern for Glaber. I'm going to leave that where it is. You missed Glaber. We're moving on, Paulie boy.
Alrighty.
Next guy is Javi Baez. Javi Baez again was a MVP candidate for the large majority of last year. Had a huge year. Again, another guy who qualifies at a couple positions. Probably went in the top 2 rounds in a lot of drafts. 203 average, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess I'm concerned. I wouldn't say. Wait, we're not on Glaber anymore, right? Who did you say?
No, come on, Javi Baez. Glaber's dead.
Javi Baez. Oh. I'm sorry. Javi, yeah. I'm not as concerned with Javi as I would be Glaber. I think Javi definitely turns around. He still has 10 RBIs, right? He's still got that pop in his bat. He's still playing crazy defense. The average I'd still be a little worried about. He's only batting 200, but I think he picks it back up. He maybe ends off the year, with like a 275, but that means he's got to get hot at some point. So I think it does happen. So not really concerned too much with Javi.
So would you consider your level of concern the same with Javi as it is with Bellinger? Because they're hitting pretty much the same. 187 versus 203, 4-3 home runs, 11-10 RBIs. Do you think they're in the same boat for you?
Honestly, I'm more panicked about Cody than I am Baez. I don't know. There's something about Baez that I think he definitely does turn it around. Cody, I don't know. I'm not as high on as getting like too hot at some point. I mean, I think he pretty much just like levels out for the rest of the year. Javi, I think definitely turns it around at some point as long as he stays healthy.
So you and Malpal are polar opposites because he's more just concerned about Cody, but he's panicking a little bit about Baez. And I get it. He is strike zone issues. I don't know. Did the Cubs give him a big contract yet? I don't think so.
I'm not too sure. I don't think so either.
I don't think so. But
he has always had strike zone discipline. Has always been poor for him. It's true. It's true. But I mean, this is a guy who kind of anchors that lineup in a way. So I don't know.
Okay. And then the last guy, Paulie, we're going with the number 1, number 2 pick in most drafts, Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna, and now he's injured to add to it. So and you own Acuna in our league. So from a first-person perspective, where are you? Are you concerned, panicked, or doomed?
Yeah, I'm I'm panicking at this point. I mean, 40 games left. He's got a wrist injury, wrist inflammation, or whatever it is. He's eligible to come off the IL on Friday, but I think Brian Snicker came out and said today that they have no timeline for him coming back, which is, oh, they're just killing me. So definitely nervous about Acuna and when he gets back, because when he gets back they're gonna kind of like just not be too hard on him, so he might not even be playing every day right away whenever he does get back. And with 40 games left, need this guy need him every day in the lineup, you know, and it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So yeah, I mean, Malpal saying doom. I wouldn't disagree with doom. I'm just trying to be a little more on the bright side of it and saying I'm just panicked about him, but doomed is definitely feasible.
Paulie, is it fair to say for the chat room, I'm going to do a little play on words here. Malpal says Javi Baez has bad plate discipline. Lenny still has the refrigerator open. Wouldn't Lenny then also have bad plate discipline?
Yes, absolutely. Lenny, go close that refrigerator as soon as possible.
And put the plate away, Lenny. Put the plate away. It's after 7 o'clock. You don't burn calories too efficiently after 7 o'clock, Lenny. Come on, you know better, kid.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
I agree with you with Acuna. I had him more in panic because I think he's just so talented. But with the injury, I could see how Doom overrules that, especially because the 4 home runs, he had 3 of them in one game, right? So he got half of one game, and I don't know how many ribs he had that game. Do you remember? Was it like 5?
He had 5.
All right, so you take that game away, he's got 1 home run and 4 RBIs, right? And it's like, all right, it puts it into a little bit more perspective. It's that Braves whole lineup is really interesting. Losing Albies for a little bit, losing Acuna for a little bit. Freddie was on the mend. They lost a bunch of pitching between Folty and Soroka, like whatever. But Acuna, panic, more towards doom for me. You're in doomland with him. That's why you're trying to call me and trade him to me all the time. But we'll see what happens here. All right. Okay. So that was hitters, quick pitchers. All right. Quick pitchers, concern, panic, doom. Here's the big one, Paulie. Probably was a top 4 pitcher drafted this year was Walker Buehler. Buehler, top 4 pitcher, 5.21 ERA, has only pitched. No, not only pitched. The longest he's ever gone is 5 2/3, right? 5 2/3 innings. 17 Ks in 19 innings. That to me, I'm a K per inning pitch kind of guy. 17 Ks in 19 innings is concerning for Walker. Like, I don't know if he lost some miles per hour on his fastball or whatnot, or what's going on there. His whip is his only spot where it's a little bit of a redeeming quality at a 1.15. But you expect more from Walker Buehler. Where are you with Walker?
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who I picked to be Cy Young this year. I mean, going into the 60-game season, I obviously don't know him well enough because I figured him to be a quick starter, somebody to just, out of the gate give you like 7, 8 innings maybe and just, deals. But I mean, it doesn't seem to be the case. Dave Roberts is bringing him along slowly. He still seems like he's not too warmed up yet into this season, and it's not a good sign. But I mean, it's okay for the Dodgers because they can wait. I mean, they have a great team, so if he gets hot towards the end of September, then it's good for them. They don't really need him to be a stud right now, so it's good for them. It's good for them if he does wind up being decent at the end of September. But I mean, right now they don't really need him to be that Cy Young, giving them 7, 8 innings a game. For fantasy players, it's a little bit different. It's not exactly why what we're looking for. So I mean, with him, I'm a little bit concerned. I think at some point he definitely turns it around. It could even be in his next start, and then they really start giving him some more work, some more innings in those games. But the strikeouts are a little concerning, maybe a little more than a little concerning. But I think he definitely turns it around at some point.
Yeah, I'm just at a spot of concern with him. Not too panicked. Like you said, Malpal, He was a slow starter last year. I think Paulie said that too. Yeah, I'm not. I think Walker's going to turn it on. He's too young. He's got too much talent. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And they did baby him early last year as well. Malpal, great point there. Malpal said he sees Bellinger like Franmil. That's high praise for Franmil. You know, especially based on the year Bellinger had last year. But I get where you're going with that. That's just going to take a little bit of momentum, and then they'll get to where they need to go. But yeah, I hear you.
I think Franmil has a better rest of the season than Bellinger does from here on out.
I agree with that, Paulie. I agree. I think Franmil is going to have a bang up rest of 2020. Bellinger, I'm not so hot on. Anyway, this next one kills me because I have such a relationship with him. I own him in one of my leagues, and I just don't know. Actually, the league I'm in with Paulie, I just don't know what to do with him, and that's Lucas Giolito. Right, here's a guy that I thought was a diamond in the rough last year when I drafted him for $1. And then he had the year he had last year. And then this year, he had a bad first start. Then he had 2 really good starts. And then his last start was bad again. And I feel like I'm in this relationship with Giolito where I don't really know how to make sense of it. Right now he's got almost a 5 ERA with a 1.41 whip. I mean, that whip is so high. It just means he's giving up hits and walks at just such a high clip. And that's not a good metric. But the interesting thing that keeps me engaged with him is he's got 32 Ks in 27 innings. He's a strikeout guy. So while the whip is usually an indicator of bad things to come, the K ratio is an indicator of good things to come. So I don't know what to do with Giolito. Can you give me some clarity? What would you do?
I don't know. I mean, you got to just wait out the storm and see what happens with him. See which way he winds up going. I mean, I think he's just a really inconsistent pitcher. And last year, I mean, it seems like he put some things together. But I mean, for you, I would be panicked. I would be a bit panicked because you don't know. I mean, one day he may pitch well, and then the next start he's given up hits, runs, walks with no Ks and whatever else it is. I mean, it just seems like he can't stay consistent, with his stuff. And he's young though. I mean, he was a hyped up prospect to begin with. He finally figured it out somewhat last year, put together a good year, and then this year he just back to his inconsistent ways. But I mean, the rest of the year I wouldn't drop him or anything crazy, but I mean, he may be that way for the rest of the year for you, especially in such a short season.
Yeah. He's the guy that going into this year was my number 2 starter. Is probably now my number 5. Based on
rely on him too high up there in that rotation. In your rotation.
I mean, the rest of my rotation is, Garrett Cole's my 1, but I got Sonny Gray, who's just been nasty, and Corbin, who got blown up last time, but I also have Dylan Bundy. So I mean, that's why I said Giolito's down at the bottom.
Right. So if anybody else out there has a guy like Giolito, you hope that you have other good pieces around him, so that if he falls off into that bottom of a rotation guy, at least you got some guys who can fill out the top of the rotation, and you don't have to rely on Giolito as much. We got our boy Hap in here. What's up, Hap?
There he is. King Hap. What's up, buddy? Happy to have you here, brother. Paulie, Andrea just found Walker Buehler on the waiver wire in one of her leagues. On the wire. Andrea.
Yeah.
Andrea, I hope.
I want to be in that league.
I mean, I'm gonna assume there's 4 teams in that league because I don't know how Walker Buehler gets cut ever. But I mean, we know how much you love to draft, so I wouldn't be surprised if you're in 40 leagues and there's 1 or 2 of them that has like 4 teams in them, just because you are just loving those drafts. But yeah, 100%. All right, here we go. I don't even want to bring up this guy. I don't even want to bring up Steven Strasburg because he's barely pitched. Like 5 innings. Yeah. 6 earned. Mm-hmm. He's got 2 strikeouts in those 5 innings. I mean, he just got paid. I don't love guys who just got paid. I think some of the hunger gets taken away. And I know you have Strasburg. By the way, if you keep in score, Paulie's got Acuna and Strasburg. He's in a tough spot right now. If you got a free superstar, give him to Paulie boy.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, Strasburg, Paulie. I mean, where do you personally land with him?
Oh man, it's not looking good for Strasburg at all this year. I mean, I think he's an absolute doom. Absolute doom. If you have him on your team, don't be surprised if they shut him down for the rest of the year, especially with the way that he's been treated throughout his career by the Nats. This isn't like a joke injury or anything like that. It seems like nerve damage. He's got carpal tunnel neuritis, it's called, in his right hand. He's had that nerve problem throughout the whole off season. It seems like when he got back to throwing a little bit more, an absolute doom. He's a disaster. A guy spent a ton of money on in our auction league, and I'm sure a lot of guys drafted him pretty high. So if you got the IL spot, keep him there. Hopefully he gets back at the end of the year, maybe gets a good start or two, but it's very doubtful. The guy you're gonna have to cut ties with and deal with. What are you gonna do?
I unfortunately agree with you. Malpal does too. He's a doom guy, and I just think the Nats are going to shut him down. They're going to shut him down.
Yeah.
I mean, considering they still have Corbin and Scherzer at the top of that rotation, they could afford to shut him down and not risk any other issues. But yeah, it does suck for Strasburg, Andrea. But what are you going to do? Let's close out this little segment with a couple of closers. Brad Hand. So Brad Hand is interesting because Brad Hand has been pretty nasty recently. I think he's rattled off like 5 saves in a row. So he's been good, but he started off like he's got 5.2 innings pitched so far this season, and he's given up 7 runs, 7 Ks. So the K numbers are decent, and he has the Ks. But you know what the problem with Brad Hand is that he should have a death grip on that closer role. But my boy Karanchak is right there. Karanchak is, I mean, I have him in one of my leagues. The guy, every game he's in, he reminds me of just his numbers on what Josh Hader was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Like he comes in, he strikes out the side every time. He might give up a walk or a hit in the mix, but this Karanchak kid is filthy. So Brad Hand, I mean, he better start just having these shutdown saves because Karanchak is knocking. And I know it's nice to have him as a setup guy, but man, I just I don't know, Paulie.
Yeah. Malpal saying Hand will be fine if he's not traded to be a setup man because it's likely that Hand doesn't get traded to close games elsewhere. I think it's true, but it's a good chance that the Indians maybe wind up moving him. But I think that would be a little silly on their part if they're trying to contend. They'll need as many arms in that pen as they can get. Even though Karanchak does look like a future stud closer, but I wouldn't be too concerned with Hand. He might have turned it around, but it's a good thing that you got him handcuffed. And I think anybody who does have Hand should handcuff Karanchak with him just in case of anything. But wouldn't be too concerned about Hand right now unless he did get traded at some point.
That's fair. I mean, I just have a little bit of concern for Hand, but that can move into panic really quick. 1 or 2 blow-ups, Karanchak right there. I mean, that could happen. That could definitely happen.
Yeah.
And that's the right word, unhittable. Karanchak is unhittable. He really is right now. He's just filth. Absolute filth.
Yeah.
And then the last guy here, which I think is just doom, is Kirby Yates. I mean, Kirby Yates. I wasn't big on Yates anyway. He kind of came out of nowhere. He was just the appointed closer last year. Malpal, you could jump in on Yates for a second. Like, he had that monster year last year, which is great. I wasn't expecting a repeat performance. I don't really like him. And this year, I mean, he's injured, 4 innings, 6 earned runs. I mean, I don't know who you got closing there. Are they going to throw Pomeranz back there? I don't know what the hell's going on in San Diego. But that's part of the problem with San Diego starting to melt away. But I'm just not a big Yates guy.
Yeah. It does look like it's going to be Pomeranz's job from here on out. But yeah, Yates, it's not looking good. He's got elbow, and it's probably looking like a Tommy John type thing. So if you had him last year, you're grateful that he did what he did last year. But this year, if you got him and you drafted him as high as he was going and everything, you're probably not too happy, because it seems like he's doomed. The rest of his season is absolutely doomed, and it's a shame. But it's nothing you could do with these injuries, especially on this short season. That a lot of these injuries are going to be popping up more and more.
Absolutely. So thus closes the book on Concern, Panic, and Doom. Paul, a great little segment. But listen, while we're talking about closers, I got to ask you something. So us being Met fans and having an awful year right now, I got to ask you a question, because I called up was it the leadoff spot on MLB this morning. I know Lenny's a listener. I call in often. If you ever call into or listen to the leadoff spot, Bobby from Staten Island, I'm the guy. I call in probably about 3 times a week. So today I called in, and they were asking, tell us some highlights about your team. And I got to be honest with you. Edwin Diaz, since they moved him to that setup role, I mean, he's been lights out. We're talking about 5 appearances in a row with at least 2 strikeouts. And he has just been lights out. So, as much as he didn't fulfill that role of closer, and I don't know if they go back into it, but having a shutdown setup guy, and again, to be fair, he's not in high leverage situations yet, so I take this all with a grain of salt. But it's nice to see his stuff translate into some sort of results, not just for the kid, but for the Mets in general. If you're the Mets, this is the question Steve Phillips asked me today. If you were the Mets with Diaz's current performance, would you move him at the trade deadline this year as a potential setup man for another team, or would you hold on to him for next year to be your setup man for next year, being that you have him for a couple more years?
Yeah. I mean, if you could move him and get at least one solid good piece, then do it, because you're looking at him being a setup man next year. I mean, they're working him in so slowly that he's not in any high leverage situations right now. So he's pitching with no pressure on him, which is great for him. And it just seems like as soon as he has that pressure on him, he automatically falters. And it's just some guys just can't pitch in New York. Some guys can't handle that pressure.
Holy Boy Studios is crashing again. You're frozen. We can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Malpal, that's a great comment, though. Maybe Mets trade Diaz for Clinic. My God, I would love that. But obviously, Jerry DePoto over Seattle is not that stupid. I think that's pretty safe to say. Paulie Boy, we got you back.
Yeah, must have been a quick shortage. I don't know what's on over here. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you're still going in and out, Paulie. Bad connection. We're going to keep on going here, though. So we're a little bit over the halfway mark. Andrea, let us know if Aloha is coming on tonight. Again, I know they haven't been on in a while because we've been going over, but let me know if they're coming on. But if you missed anything tonight, listen, we went heavy into concern, panic, and doom as far as current guys and what you're going to do with them, and are you concerned, are you panicked, are you doomed? If you missed any of that, go on demand, go onto the Lenny Melnick Fantasy Sports Network, play catch up. We got a couple other pieces coming up talking about dollar dandies and injury dilemmas. So just strap in for a little bit, and we can keep going. Andrew, no Aloha again. Where are these guys? Where are they? Is he in Hawaii? Is that why he hasn't been around?
They're for saying I sound like a $5 piano. Am I back now?
Yeah, no, you're back. You're back, but I think you got to upgrade, Paulie. I think you got to upgrade to the North Shore.
I got to talk to Andrea after this. She's got to get my setup going. I got to buy some things around here and upgrade the equipment.
Gotcha.
I think that's
so. Andrea, sorry to hear that Aloha Kevin's not feeling well. Well wishes to him that he's on the mend. So if
Brandon said I look like the movie Unfriended. That's a good one, BC. That's a good one. There's a movie called Unfriended, with when people are on like video chat and there's a ghost that kills them in like the video. It's very weird, but it's a good reference.
I mean, and Brandon's old, so I don't know how he has such a hip reference in his back pocket. But good job, BC. Good job.
He's got 25 kids, so
yeah. Hey, boy, I got a quick trivia question. We're not going to drag this out. Quick trivia. Yesterday, the Chicago White Sox, Malpal's second favorite team of all time, hit 4 home runs in a row. 4 homers, okay? Moncada, Grandal, Abreu, and Eloy. All right, 4 bombs.
Yep.
I'm going to give you a little hint. Last year, another team hit 4 home runs in a row. What team was it? And I'll give you extra bonus points if you can get some of the players. It's not such a given, but tell me what team hit 4 in a row last year and who some of those players were. All right?
Alrighty.
All right, Paulie. Dollar Dandies, Paulie. Now, these are players that might be on your waiver wire still currently or were picked up for $1, and right now they're just outperforming. And
right,
I'm gonna start off with just 2 Orioles, right out of the gate. 2 Orioles, okay?
Not the Yankees. Not the Yankees. The trivia question is not the Yankees.
No, not the Yankees. Not Houston. Not the Dodgers. Nope. None of those. So 2 Orioles, Paulie. This first one, I didn't even know his name. I didn't know who he was. I don't know what that says about me as a baseball expert and analyst, but Pedro Severino, who is still a free agent in our league. Brandon's going to pick him up tomorrow. He's a free agent in our league. He's hitting .333 with 5 home runs and 18 RBIs and a stolen base from a catcher. Who is this guy, Paulie? Pedro Severino. And then you couple him with Anthony Santander, who went for $1 as well. 271, 7 home runs, 22 RBIs. Who are these birds?
I don't know. Who would have thought that these Orioles would be producing these fantasy stars in such a short season? But there's plenty of Orioles to go around in fantasy. Pick up as many of them as you can at this point because they're really performing well, and most of them are on the waivers, if not all of them. Well, they were at least to begin the season. Some of them aren't now, but pick up whoever's doing well from Baltimore, especially Severino and Santander. They look awesome. So if they're on waivers, go get them.
Yeah.
Looks like Andrea might have got the trivia. She said the Nationals.
And she got 2 of them too, Rendon and Eaton. That's just for the 4. Good job, Andrea.
Yep.
Good job. I'll be like Malpal and say, you get a shirt, but we don't have shirts. So we just give you like no. It's like a virtual shirt, Andrea. Just put it on you right there. There you go. So nice.
One day.
So nice. That's a good fit. Looks good.
We got cousin Walter in here. What's up, cousin Walt?
Cousin Walt, what's up, buddy? That's my guy.
Andrea said she cheated.
Come on, Andrea, you're better than that. Andrea, if you cheated, Andrea, why didn't you just give me all 4? Because you're playing coy. You're like, I don't know who the other 2 are. Yes, you do. Now, just put them out. Just put them out there. Let the suspense end. Throw it out there. Just do it. Malpal remembers it was off Craig Stammen, which probably means that he might have had Craig Stammen on his team. And obviously,
it was against San Diego. Yeah,
for sure. So okay, so Severino and Santander for $1. Let me throw a couple of pictures in there, Paulie. What you thought of the best goatee in Major League Baseball, Randy Dobnak? Randy Dobnak of the Minnesota Twins. Where did this guy come from?
Yeah, former Uber employee. I don't know. He looks fantastic, though. Looks awesome. He's just
filthy.
I don't know. Nobody's striking out against him, really, but he's filthy nonetheless.
Yeah,
I don't know. He looks great.
I don't know.
I don't think he falls off too far. At some point he'll have a bad start, but I don't think he falls off too far ever at this point.
I mean, I'll tell you what, 4-1 record, 1.42 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. But you know what I'm going to say makes me nervous with him. 25 innings, 14 Ks. I gotta say this out loud.
Yeah.
My sweet young nephew. Yes, I agree. Trade Randy Dobnak ASAP because those K numbers make me want to vomit. But my sweet young nephew says, "Hey, you know what? He reminds me of a young Greg Maddux." I said, "Greg Maddux, how can you make that comp right now? You can't make that comp. You can't compare.
He's a very poor man.
You can't compare Randy Dobnak to the professor. You can't do that, Paulie boy. Come on."
I never really watched Maddux. All I know is that Maddux hit his spot. He was very accurate, and he pitched till he was, I don't know, 40-something years old. But, you know, I don't know. Dobnak looks great, man. I mean, yeah, trade, you get something, like, legit for him, but he could be a solid piece in your rotation. A guy who you thought would be a 5, 6, 7 starter on your fantasy team, and he winds up being one of your aces. At least for now. But if you could get something for him, yeah, make the move.
Do me a favor. Just reserve your comparisons in the future for, like, warranted guys. I mean, Randy Dobnak's on the list.
How do you can't compare anybody like that because he's got no strikeouts, yet he's 4-1 with a 1 point something ERA. He's like I don't know. Is he like Ryu from last year? Maybe. Is that?
Yeah. Okay. Ryu or Paulie. You're a Met fan. Maybe we'll say Rick Reed. We'll call him like a Rick Reed type of player. Don't go Greg Maddux. That's just insulting. But anyway, for a buck, and I know BC is on here, and I believe BC has Randy Dobnak. Great pickup. Randy Dobnak is the guy for a buck. The other guy's Merrill Kelly.
Yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly. And Merrill Kelly, again, strikeouts a little low, 22K in 26 innings. Not awful, though, but a 1.71 ERA, 0.91 WHIP. Diamondbacks have been picking it up. They were a last-place team last week, but they've been starting to pick it up big time. Merrill Kelly might be the real deal, Paulie boy.
Yeah, he actually had a decent year last year. At some point, he was pretty good. So, you know, this year, he's looking like a great dollar pickup. Looking like the ace of that staff in Arizona. And if he's still on your waivers for some reason, then you gotta go get him.
Yeah, for sure. Merrill Kelly is definitely seems like he's got it going on. You know, I just because Malpass said Josh Stallman has better numbers than most starters.
I think he's in Toronto.
No, with Kansas City, relief pitcher.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a .93 ERA and a 1.24 WHIP. His K numbers though are pretty solid, but I'll keep him on the radar. I don't know as a middle reliever.
He's a reliever. Yeah,
he's a reliever. But
yeah,
good to throw
looks
out
like
a
they
name
like
out,
Rosenthal there anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So this next guy, to me, I'm so excited that he's doing well. Obviously he's a Met, but Dom Smith. Dom Smith was a player without a position coming into the season, right? Yoenis was back, so he was taking up DH. The outfield positions were taken. First base was taken by Alonso. Dom Smith might just need an opportunity to play. And I'm willing to deal with, as a Met fan and in Met management, that kind of logjam. But Dom Smith right now, and this is just recent, Paulie, because he was not good in the first, week and a half. But he has picked it up in the last week and a half. He's at 296, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. I think he hit 4 or 5 home runs in the last week. Dom Smith, I mean, I know he had a lot of hype when he got drafted, but those numbers, I mean, they just play. And you got to find a spot for him to bat. I mean, he's got to be a full-time DH right now, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. And he just needed that bat. That was it. I mean, the problem with him was that he didn't have the position, so he was playing sparingly. You play left. They barely play him at first because of Pete. So, when was he getting at bats? Now he's getting at bats. He's playing a little more first base because now Pete can DH. You got him in left field because McNeil went and got hurt. They don't know if they like JD out there. They're really confused between third base and left field and whatever. So Dom's playing left field. He's playing first base. If he's not playing either there, he's DHing. He's hitting both lefties and righties. So what's not to like?
Yeah. You got to play him for $1. Again, if you need a first baseman, that's who I should have picked up last week when Goldie was out with the Cardinals all last week. Instead, I picked up Mitch Moreland, who, of course, went stone cold the second I picked him up. I should have picked up Dom Smith. He would have probably got me another 3 home runs. But Dom Smith for $1, can't go wrong. And the last guy we don't have to talk too much about because we touched on him last week is Mike Yastrzemski. Again, he just keeps producing. He just keeps producing. 305, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, 20 runs scored. The pride of Andover, Massachusetts. Yastrzemski is just, for $1. Those are all. If you're in an auction league or a keeper league, you keep Yaz. You keep maybe Dom Smith. You keep maybe Merrill Kelly. I'm not so sure about Dobnak and Severino yet. Santander, I think, might be for real. I mean, I don't use that bank. Yeah. I'm more of a Bank of America guy, but Santander, I don't know. I don't know.
Always open.
It's always open.
Yeah, man.
So dollar dandies right there.
Just a few dandies.
Malpal, Stallman throws 102. I'll tell you the last 2 guys I fell in love with who threw over 100 miles an hour. I thought they were going to be just world beaters, and they fell apart. One of them was Brandon Morrow. Brandon Morrow, remember how good he was supposed to be?
And he was good.
And I mean, he was the Cubs closer for a little bit. The other guy, and I'm actually blanking on his name, he was a Padres pitcher. And he broke off some of the nastiest pitches because he coupled them with his fastball that was over 100 miles an hour. Malpal, when you have a second, tell me a pitcher who was constantly injured, no longer playing, who was through absolute gas and all of a sudden fell off and just had nasty stuff over the last 3 or 4 years. I forget what his name was. Paulie, if you remember Padres pitcher, I can't think of it. But
I'm not too sure.
Anyway, it'll come to me. All right, so not Lincecum. No, he was the guy I'm talking about was a Padre. He was a Padre. Not a big name, but I watched him throw. My buddy Sean, actually, I can't take credit. My buddy Sean, both of these, Morrow and the San Diego guy, he got me into them, but they never panned out. All right, so last piece for the evening, Paulie. Injury dilemmas. So injury dilemmas, guys that you drafted, and now you're at a spot. You're at halfway of the season. Do you drop them or do you keep them based on where they have right now? No, Malpal wasn't a kid who last year. It might have been, damn it, I totally forget his name. But not Munoz. Just some names here, Paulie, in our last 7 minutes. Some names of guys that do you drop them? And just quick one-word answers. Drop or keep at this point in the game based on their injuries. Carlos Martinez, drop or keep?
Drop. He's going to get some starts, but drop him.
Yeah. And guys, I'm saying this as if it's a redraft league. Okay. Obviously, it's a different strategy if you're on a keeper. Bo Bichette.
Yeah, that's tough. You're going to keep him. You're going to keep him and hope that he comes back at some point soon. Maybe in the middle of September. If you have a good team, you're in your fantasy playoffs. If you got the room, but it's tough to drop him right now. I would wait a couple weeks, see what the status is of him. Brandon's saying your guy's name is Emmanuel Clace. Is that it?
Who?
Emmanuel Clace? Is that the guy from San Diego?
No, it's not. It's not him.
Good try, BC. Good try, BC.
BC is hot on the computer right now.
Yeah. Google's a good friend to him right now.
All right. Strasburg, we said that you're dropping.
Yeah, he's done. You could wait, but he's going to be done.
What about Tommy Pham? Hot off the presses of the injury, 4 to 6 weeks. Taking up a roster spot, an IL spot right now that are valuable. What are you doing with them?
Yeah, he's another guy that I think you can drop and not worry about. Um, broken hamate bone. So what is that, like the forearm or to the? I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. So and they said 4 to 6 weeks. So even if it's a month from now that he's getting back, you're looking at the middle to the end of September. Not ideal. So you definitely drop him for somebody who's actually playing.
Yeah. No, Malpal, not cashing. Listen, I really appreciate all you guys playing Name That Padre, but I just, man.
Yeah, you got to text Pendo.
That's what I'm, as we speak.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Malpal said Sam's a doom, cut, drop, bye-bye. Yeah, absolutely.
I know who it is. Ready? Even before Tendo gives it to me. Corey Lubke. Corey Lubke through absolute filth. Absolute filth. He was the guy that if he stayed healthy, he would have been at least a nasty closer, if not a great starter. Corey Lubke. He was the guy. All right. Thank you. It finally came to me. Yeah. So Tommy Pham's a drop. And here's the last one, Paulie. Justin Verlander. Now, Verlander said he was done for the year because of an injury. And now I hear he's coming back. I don't know what miraculous medicine he took or what the hell happened or what they're doing. But are you cutting Verlander or are you gonna hold on to him?
No, you're gonna hold on to him for a little bit longer, I think. Just because if he comes back and then you drop him, you're gonna feel terrible, especially if he's even half of himself. So I would probably just hold on to him a little bit longer and see what the word is on him as they get a little closer to his return, if at all.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. You want to know who's doing as if COVID wasn't doing mayhem to fantasy rosters all over the place. I got to talk for a second. Segue. This whole Zach Clevenger debacle going on right now. These guys, they went out, they lied to their teammates, they got optioned down to the minor league squad. I mean, the Cleveland Indians had the best team starter ERA in the majors at like 2.5, and these guys are 2/5 of the rotation, both having great years, and now they're all of a sudden gone. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I had both of them in one of my leagues, and it definitely decimated my team. Absolutely destroyed my team. But I'm hearing talks of the Indians just just saying stay in the minors for the year, and this is your punishment. But can you imagine that 2/5 of the rotation that were performing like that? I mean, this is like a Mets issue, Paulie. That's why, like, as much as I hate it, like, there's something very familiar about it, right? It's something very Matt Harvey-ish about that.
You feel like you can relate to this.
Like, 100%. Like, that's something that a bunch of Mets guys would go and do.
It's funny because Durf said a little while back that he finally got rid of Plesac, which means I'm assuming that you would hold on to Clevenger and get rid of Plesac, but I feel like if you get rid of one, then you might as well drop the other, because Plesac was almost better. He was pitching better than Clevenger was, I think.
I love Plesac this year.
It's tough to get rid of one and not the other. It's just sad that that's the case for them, and that the Indians may actually just keep them off the roster completely. I don't see how that's possible, especially in sports. I mean, guys make mistakes all the time, but guys who perform, they always get a little bit more leeway. I guess they got to make up with their coaches and their fellow players and everything like that. But their teammates. But I wouldn't drop them, and if I did, I would be watching them because they're going to be called back up soon, I think. I don't think that they can go too long without both of them, and I don't think you can just call up one of them. So I think both of them get called back up at some point, probably in September, at latest, maybe after the deadline. But At some point they'll be back. I don't see that happening for the rest of the year. But I mean, I could be wrong, but just unlikely in my eyes.
Yeah. All right. You heard it here first from Paulie Boy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just very disappointed in both of them because I love them both. I love Plesac and Clevenger. All right. So It's 8:00 on the button right now. I just want to share a little story from this week, Paulie Boy. I know I kind of include you in on this. Malpal, this is kind of for your ears because it's down the memorabilia pathway. But and I still owe you a call, Malpal. We're going to talk about this stuff. But as I've mentioned on these podcasts before, I flirted with buying a Ty Cobb signed ball. I flirted with buying a 500 home run ball. I was going back and forth. I was going to pay some big money for the Ty Cobb. I was really considering it. I didn't do it. Didn't have the certs in line. It wasn't on a great ball, the whole thing. But across my plate this week, somebody offered me, Malpal, you ready? A Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig signed ball. The ball was in okay condition. It was not certified, but he was going to send it to get certified.
Yeah.
He wanted $6,000 for it. The Lou Gehrig was very, very faded. The Babe Ruth was in good shape, but faded. I decided against it. And again, guys, this is not money that I have. I mean, it's money that I have, but I shouldn't be spending. But I want that jewel for my piece, for my collection. Paulie Boy, by the way, gave me some great advice. Paulie Boy was like, "Hey, listen, don't do it right now. Wait until I'm writing a book." So it was like, "Wait till you write your book." And Paulie Boy, just so smart. Just he's 26 years old, but so polished,
Yeah.
like just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
But Malpal, Ruth and Gehrig for $6,000. I mean, it was very tempting because you see a lot of Ruths out there go for double that. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm still sweating about it a little bit. Actually, right now I'm sweating just talking about it because I'm like, ugh.
Nah.
To have that ball in my hand.
Don't sweat it.
Yeah.
Don't sweat it.
I know. There are other babes out there.
You're talking a lot of money. You're talking a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, see, Malpal, he would.
There you go.
Yeah, Malpal, this is why you and I need to get into the mix because I need to just call you. I mean, Paulie Boy's great, but you know memorabilia. Paulie Boy's going to give me sound advice. You're going to give me sound memorabilia advice. So it's nice. It's nice that I have you guys both on the Uncle Bob board of directors. I really appreciate it. That whenever I have an issue, I can come to you guys and know I'm going to get some sound advice. But
anytime.
All right, guys. It's 8:03. I'm not going to keep you too much later. I'm kind of tired. I had kind of a late weekend. Paulie Boy was up until 8 in the morning the other day looking up fantasy rosters. I know he's tired. But guys, always a pleasure. Thank you to Andrea, Lenny, Malpal, Paulie Boy. It's always a pleasure. We had Durf in the room. We had Aunt Georgette. We had Brandon. We had cousin Walter. We had a good crew out here. Did I miss anybody?
E-Ray.
Bro, I beat you to it. I said Erica before you said E-Ray. Erica, I'm so sorry. It almost feels like I took you for granted because I'm so used to you being here, and I don't ever mean to do that. But yeah.
It's all right. King Hap was in here.
Guys, I appreciate it across the board. Even if you just stop by, check in, we love it. Paulie Boy and I will do a better job of checking in on other shows, right, Paulie Boy?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, guys. Monday night, we appreciate you all. We love you all. Paulie Boy, you got anything?
Nope. That's it. You summed it up pretty well. Love you guys. Thanks for coming out. See you next week.
Have a great night, guys. See you later.